another episode of Food with the Fox. I'm your host, Scooter Fox, and today we're going to be making homemade pasta. As I said, there's only a few ingredients involved with this, and they are 4 eggs. Now they've got to be at room temperature, very important. So make sure if you keep your eggs in the fridge, take them out for a little bit first. You need 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and you need 2.5 cups of 00 type flour. Now it's important to get the 00 type flour because it has a different gluten level to your normal flour, so you are going to need that. You can do it with normal flour by all means, but I personally think you do get a better result if you use the 00 flour. Okay, here we go. So what you want to do at first is just crack your 4 eggs into a bowl. Now the reason I do that is so I can tell that all the eggs are okay. Yep, they're looking great. And just give those a little bit of a whisk. Set those aside. And like I said, you need 2.5 cups of the 00 flour. Just give that a sieve. Straight onto your bench, and you'll get why in a minute. Just like so. Now, what you're going to do is just make a little bit of a well. And then in the middle, just add your eggs in. Like so. In goes the salt to the eggs. And this is where you start mixing it through. So just want to bring it in from the edges slowly and just whisk it around. Right until it starts to form up a bit of a dough. Now take it slow, take it easy. I'll keep cracking on with this and I'll come back when it's nearly done. Okay, so now that it's starting to come together, as you can see, starting to form a bit of a dough, you just want to keep pressing it all in, gather it up. Now it is going to be and feel quite dry at this stage, but that's what you want. You don't want it to be too wet. Okay, now you're going to get a main sort of ball form, which is this one I'm working with now. Get rid of the excess and continue to work with the main ball. Now, as I said, you can see it's quite dry, but that's okay. That's what we want. Just keep working it. And if it is a bit too dry, just add a little bit of water. Now, I'm talking a little bit, like wet fingers. And that'll be enough just to loosen it up. Now I've just continued to work this for a little bit longer, just so you get a real smooth feel on the outside. I did add probably just another little splash of water just to get it right. But again, you want it still quite firm. You don't want it too pliable. You don't want it too soft. That's a good consistency there, like that. So once you've got it like that, a bit of the old cling wrap. Wrap it up nice and tight, like so. And then we just chuck it in the old fridge. And you need to sit it in the fridge for roughly about an hour, hour and a half. And then we'll get on to the next stage, which is rolling out the pasta. Okay, so now that your dough has rested in the fridge for an hour or so, you want to take it out and you can feel it's a lot more pliable than when you first put it in. So, what you want to do is just cut your dough into workable size pieces, like so. I generally do 4 or 5. Just like that. And you want to get your trusty old pasta roller. Now, I've had this one for a while. It's a good quality one. It's just a manual one. There are electric ones on the market, but to be honest, I've heard a lot of bad stories about them. They're quite noisy and they do play up a bit. So, yeah, I stick with the manual one. It's done a great job for me over the years, and for the amount of times I use it, easy done. All right, now I just want to flour up the bench a little bit here. And we grab one of our pieces of pasta dough and just flatten it out. It's a bit of the flour, just like that, dust it off. Now this step's pretty important. What you want to do on your pasta roller, you've got settings on the side here on the dial. Starts with 0, and that's the most open setting for the rollers on the pasta roller. So get the dough kind of as flat as you can with your hands. Just flatten it out. Well, not as flat as you can, but nice and flat, about, you know, 1/2 centimetre thick. And then we start the rolling process. So you just feed it in. And wind it through. Fold it in half and go again. Fold it in half and go again. Now what this does, it actually kneads the dough for the next step of getting the dough to the right thickness for the pasta. So you want to do that about 5 or 6 times. Roll it through and you'll feel that it actually starts to get a lot more pliable in your hands. Okay, so once we've done that about 5 or 6 times, it's now time to start winding down the gauge on our roller, and that's when our pasta starts to get a bit thinner and stretch out a bit more. So go to setting 1 and away we go. Setting 2. Setting 3. Setting 4. Setting 5. Setting 6. And as you can see, it's really starting to take shape now. Now, I go down to setting 6. Some recipes and other instructions tell you to take it down thinner, right down as far as like 2 and 3. But I just find it gets too thin. The pasta really just, when you cook it, it's got no body to it. And I think at level 6, it's still got quite a good thickness to it. And that allows you to get a nice al dente finish on your pasta when you cook it. So you want to cut it into lengths of nice size pasta, like so. Now make sure you get a nice layer of flour in between the sheet here on each fold so it doesn't stick. And I like to have it as fettuccine. You can have it a bit thicker, thinner, whatever size you want. There is a cutting tool that you can attach to this machine, which actually cuts it out for you, but I let the rustic hand sort of finish, so I normally just do it in about 1/2 centimetre thick. Because what you'll find, if you do it any thicker than that, when you actually do cook it, it swells up and it definitely, probably another 1/4 of the size of what you've cut it. And you end up with like real big fat ribbons, but this is how I like them. Just about that thickness. So when you cook the pasta up, it comes out nice size fettuccine. Make sure you use plenty of flour when you mix it through so it doesn't stick. I just chuck it on a tray, like so, and then I keep on keeping on. I'll cut this one up. I'll continue to roll these ones out, and that's about it really. Okay, so there's the finished product. It's all rolled up. So give this one a go. Like I said, it is very simple, very easy, and super tasty. Now, it's not the only way to make pasta, I know that. There's a million different recipes out there. Pasta's been around for thousands and thousands of years, but this is the recipe that I go to. It's quick, it's simple, it's easy, and like I said, super tasty. So add your favorite pasta sauce to this one, and you will be in heaven. Well, thanks for joining the old Scooter Fox again on Food with the Fox. I look forward to seeing you next time. Now, remember, if you like the video, hit like. If you haven't already, subscribe, and the old Scooter Fox will see you next time there's food involved. Yeah!